The Earth is 5 billion years old, and in the last 200 years we've started burning fossil fuels in enormous quantities, and we've begun to manage the land in a very damaging way, and the result is that now we need to capture those CO2 emissions from the atmosphere and manage the land in a more sustainable and more productive manner. And carbon farming does both of those things. It helps landholders around Australia and other parts of the world to change the way they manage their land for benefits for the community, for the environment, and for the land's productivity. And there are a number of ways they can do that. They can change the way they manage savanna grasses. And Indigenous Australians have done this successfully for millennia, 40, 50,000 years, managing the land through burning to take out fuel supply and prevent late season uncontrolled bushfires. And now finally we're waking up to the fact that's a very good idea. Other methods involve allowing native vegetation to regrow by either destocking or fencing out feral animals or keeping stock to a safe level, so you can ensure native mulga in particular manages to regrow, and in so doing it captures CO2 from the atmosphere. When you manage the land successfully, you generate carbon credits if you follow the rules, and the rules are laid down by the government and they're audited by independent auditors. You can ensure that your land is managed productively and sustainably.
Australian carbon farming requires navigation of complex and intersecting laws relating to land management and ownership, native title rights, and carbon farming. Firstly, customary law informs who speaks for country on different land management activities. Federal government native title law provides a process to recognise native title rights. State government land tenure laws determine who legally owns or leases the land. Carbon farming law provides the rules for registering and managing a carbon farming project. Each of these layers provides the information on who needs to be involved and in what capacity in setting up and managing a carbon farming project. The first carbon farming method we are looking at is human-induced regeneration. This method basically involves the land manager enabling trees to naturally regenerate and over the longer term become a forest by making a management change. Under this method, trees that have naturally germinated will transition towards forest cover over the project period. Achieving forest cover in Australia means the trees must grow to 2 metres in height, with over 20% canopy cover. A management change undertaken as part of the project is designed to give the young trees more of a chance to grow undisturbed. This often involves stopping clearing or modifying grazing management systems. Climate Friendly has established carbon farming partnerships with several Indigenous groups, including Budgety, Kalili, Gungari, Kuma, and is in discussion on new carbon farming partnerships, including with Bunthamara.
Potential we see out of the project is the opportunity for us to have our mob go back out on country. And another good feature out of our agreements with Climate Friendly and the landholders is the opportunity to develop parcels of land on each property for bush tucker gardens. We're optimistic that we'll be able to acquire some land out there and run our own projects, because we see the benefit of carbon farming for the environment and for us as native title holders.
With Climate Friendly, I was very glad to get involved with them, really, because it's looking after the country. I think we're going to see a lot of work being done between both of us.
Be economically viable, not only for us but for the landowners as well. If they have some of their land used for the carbon farming, that generates enough income for them to help feed their stock while the drought's on. So it's beneficial for both. It's a partnership, very worthy for a good cause.
And that's an important role, for us to be involved in regenerating our country and bringing back some of the old ways and getting people to respect that land.
Heals the land as well. The land stands at the heart of everything. It's the foundation of our culture.
The second carbon method we are looking at is savanna burning. This method involves the land managers reducing emissions from wildfires by undertaking controlled burning. Strategic early season burning reduces the fuel load on the land and reduces the risk of wildfires. Early season burning can also be conducted in cooler conditions, so less carbon is emitted from these burns. Natural Carbon has established carbon farming partnerships with Olcala, Pomperour, Kalpower and Batavia, and is in discussion on further carbon farming partnerships across Northern Australia.
We started back in early 2014 when we got the land handed back. First of all, we had to learn about what carbon burning is all about. It was pretty easy for most of us because the early burning and stuff that's what it's all about.
Yeah, we do a bit of traditional burning, mosaic burning as they call it, through from May to August, and it's really good to be back out on country and learning the traditional and science side of things.
When we hooked up with Natural Carbon, it's like my dad Robert can teach his traditional way of burning, employment for the younger ones through the Ranger program, but also building our homeland up, and it's taking the young ones out from community for their health and well-being, and just being taught the old ways, still living our culture.
It's good to be out there and keep our country clean, and
Income's better. Natural Carbon provided us for 3 years now with good income after with our credits. Instead of waiting for government grants, we're starting to build our homeland up again, and the boys are getting full-time jobs, so it's been wonderful.
If other groups want to join in the carbon trading issues, they should really look hard at it and really put it into place, because at the end of the day you will be talking dollars and back on country.
Carbon farming is a very new industry in Australia and indeed around the world. And like most new industries, you learn by doing as you move forward. We are working closely with Indigenous and pastoral landholders who are also learning by doing. How do we work together for mutual benefit? How do we engage native titled traditional owners on their land who know how to manage fire and manage a land through fire? It is a process of learning, a process of sharing, a process of collaboration, and we think we're doing that successfully with many of our native title friends and colleagues.